Marion and I are on a trip to Ireland and Northern Ireland, mainly Northern Ireland. It's the 20th of April and we're travelling across on Stena Line from Holyhead to Dublin, and we hope to get there at 6 o'clock in the evening and then drive north to near Newry, hotel near Newry, and then come and join us as we inspect and visit a number of sites connected with the geography and history of Ireland. What will we see? The Flagstaff Lodge in Newry, just north of the Irish border. And the most striking thing about this particular lodge is the amazingly steep car park. We found our suitcases rolling down the hill very rapidly when we got out. Whoops. It's Friday the 21st of April and Mary and I are enjoying a beautiful breakfast at the Flagstaff Hotel. Our intention today is to have a little look around Newry and then to drive on to the Northern Ireland Wetland Centre before going to see our friends in Dundonald. Well, this is Newry. Mary and I have come to Newry, just north of the Irish border, and this is its high street. And I'm just wondering, what would distinguish it from any particular high street in England or Wales that we perhaps might be more familiar with? Nothing obvious yet that I've discovered. Newry's Roman Catholic Cathedral. There's obviously a service going on. We're standing in the back, just observing. Having joined our local wetland centre in Arundel, we've come to the wetland centre here in Castle Espy in Northern Ireland. You can hear a tremendous amount of bird song of various sorts and some lovely views looking over the loch. Well, that looks rather nice, and it hasn't got an awful lot to do with birds, but I'm sure there are many young people who'd really enjoy it. Pity we haven't got the grandchildren here. Well, look who's in here this time. We've got one of these in the Arundel Wetland Centre, haven't we? But no grandchildren inside, just Granny. What do you think of that? I think she's trying to fly. She'll have to lose a bit of weight first, though, don't you? And a few more feathers on her wings. Perhaps she thinks she's an angel. Ducks and staff only. Mary and I have come to a little town about 15 miles from Belfast called Comber, and very different feel from Newry. It's got a Union Jack flying, and the churches seem to be Presbyterian or Protestant, and the whole atmosphere, even to us uninitiated, seems completely different. Erected by Ards Borough Council to mark the 100th anniversary of the loss of the RMS Titanic, to commemorate Thomas Andrews of Comber, 1873 to 1912, who oversaw the plans for the design of the ship, to remember those who worked on the construction and honour all those who perished, 14th of April 2012. A small little Church of Ireland church in Comber. Very pretty it is. And one of the things that you're aware of is they use the NIV here and the Book of Common Prayer, except I think it's the Church of Ireland version. Parliament Buildings is one of the most outstanding architectural sites in Ireland. It occupies a beautifully landscaped setting framed by nature, trees and a broad lawn. Parliament Buildings was constructed to accommodate the newly formed government of Northern Ireland, established under the Government Act of Ireland 1920. Work started in March 1923, and the Prince of Wales, later King Edward VIII, declared Parliament Buildings opened on the 16th of November 1932. It served as the seat of Parliament of Northern Ireland for 40 years, until 1972, when, following political unrest, Northern Ireland came under direct rule from the Westminster Parliament. It is now the home of the Northern Ireland Assembly.
Okay, so there are two chambers. There's an upper chamber and a lower chamber, and the upper chamber was used during the war as the North Atlantic convoy control. So it was a target for the Germans, and when Belfast suffered its splits, there were bombers came down quite close. So to protect the building, they covered the roadways around it with cinders and covered the building with with dark material mixed with horse urine to disguise it, and it got cleaned up after the war.
This is Protestant Belfast, and you can see in the distance there the wall that separates the Protestant community from the Catholic community. And these houses, which I'm told are relatively tidy at the moment, have their Union Jacks outside, making it undoubtedly a Protestant Unionist area. We've come to St George's Market, Belfast, and it says your weekend market now open, Saturday 9 to 3 p.m. Well, just look at this market. Good job we've had a good breakfast this morning, otherwise I'd be very tempted. But this is a big market in Belfast, and it seems to be focusing mainly on foods. Lots of coffee on offer, but pictures and other artwork as well. Well, what amazing meringues you see there. Just right. Straight in front is the court, and this structure just here is a blast wall that would have been used to stop bombs destroying the court during the Troubles. In the distance you can see the Harland and Wolff cranes, famous for the Titanic, and there's a busy street, but this street we're about to walk up to a building that was burnt out and replaced was once a river or inlet, and we're going to walk along it. Stephen, the building in front of us, when did it actually burn down?
So in 2018 there was a fire started at roof level, and by the end of the day it had burnt completely to the ground.
And you were given the contract of refurbishing it. Tell us how long it took you and what were the main challenges?
It was just over 4 years before it could be reopened. The inside had to be demolished completely and gutted out, leaving just the external walls. And then a new building built inside the external walls and an entirely new shop fitted while the external walls were restored. The stonework was badly damaged, the roof was completely off. It's a listed building, and so it has gone back exactly the way it was.
This is the interior of the Primark building. We're on the 4th floor, and the outside that you saw, well, that's what it looks like from the inside. Belfast City Hall, built sometime between 1902 and 1910. Doesn't it look grand? Inside the City Hall there's this stained glass window, and it has on it, not as Catholics or Protestants, not as nationalists or unionists, but as Belfast workers standing together. Well, you see some funny things in Belfast. Look at that man on his stilts. I wonder what he thinks he's up to. But he's quite competent, isn't he? We've come to the university section of Belfast, and it's interesting to see what matters here. I wonder how that fits in with education. This is an exotic paradise with all sorts of tropical plants inside, but the interesting thing from our perspective is that our friend Stephen was responsible for its design and refurbishment. Beautiful gardens in the precincts of Queen's University in Belfast. The inside of Queen's University in Belfast, which evidently has some design similarities to an Oxbridge college. Well, what do you think? Well, as you drive through Belfast, you see these murals. It says William, Prince of Orange, 12th of July 1690, King William III, King Billy's on the wall, Williamite forces, Danish, English, Dutch, French, Huguenots, Prussians, Scots, Polish, Italian, Norwegian. Well, we're in West Belfast on the Falls Road, an area famous for its murals. And just look at these, all painted on this wall. Remember my Noah, Justice for Noah, serving the community for over 50 years. Take a taxi tour, Spring Hill, Westrop, Falls commemoration. Unity in our time with an Irish flag. They're really quite striking, aren't they? Well, this is the astonishing outdoor edifice of the Titanic Museum in Belfast. It's so huge that I can't get it in my camera without stepping back into the road, but we've come to see the Titanic. We're looking forward to what awaits us on the inside.
I, of course, was privileged to accompany the gentleman to the smoking room. They are indeed proposing a new generation of ocean liners.
Big ships, Mr. Harrison.
The largest and most luxurious ever. Not so fast as Cunard's Lusitania, but half as big again, and more to the liking of the upper crust.
Well, that green patch that you see ahead is where the Titanic would have been built. Mary and I have come to Mount Stewart, which is a National Trust home, and as you walk in, just in a little garage to the side, is this magnificent coach. Very appropriate just before the coronation of King Charles. Mount Stewart House in the beautiful Northern Irish sunshine. This is the interior of it. Lots of marble, lots of paintings, very grand. And it seems quite full, this, an exhibition to commemorate the coronation. Dining hall. I should think this would be worthy of Queen Victoria herself. A study worthy of anyone's time. Beautiful red rhododendrons and other trees. These are the private gardens of the family, which we can look at, but can't go in. A little bit like Moses standing on Mount Nebo, looking at the forest at the Promised Land, but denied access. The country park includes Scrabo Tower, built in 1857 as a memorial to Charles Stewart Vane, 3rd Marquis of Londonderry, purported financed by his tenants and friends in recognition of his concern during the famine. This is the view from the top of Scrabo Tower, looking towards the Ards Peninsula. There's a very steep walk to get up here, and we weren't sure we were going to come, but we did in the end. And once we're here, there is the most magnificent view. And if I'm a bit breathless, well, that's because I am. Mary and I have come to Portstewart, which is on the north coast of Northern Ireland, and it's a little resort that was recommended to us by Ruth and Stephen, and we've arrived, and it's a beautiful sunny day. The sea is his and he made it. Eternity, question mark? Ye must be born again. Christ died for us. Well, that must be the long beach that Stephen and Ruth told us about. And it would be lovely if we could get there. Well, Mary and I have come to the Giant's Causeway, and it's a National Trust thing. We've just come through the National Trust Centre, a very modern looking edifice, but there's a long pathway down to the bottom. And we're rather hoping there's going to be a bus back up again, but whether that's true or not remains to be seen. We've got our hats on, it's windy, it's about 10 degrees. Well, here we are at a fairly sheltered spot by the Giant's Causeway, where you can see hundreds and hundreds of these hexagonal stones. Many of them have got broken off and just formed little bits of rubble here and there. But it is really quite spectacular and quite interesting. And there are dozens and dozens of people here, including dear Marion. I think Marion says she's come far enough. This is Ballycastle, on the north coast of Northern Ireland, not too far from the Giant's Causeway. And like most other Irish small towns, it's neat, it's tidy, it's clean, there's comparatively little litter, and it looks a very nice little place to walk around. I would recommend it. Well, this is rather unexpected. Marion's got on an exercise bike. There she is pedalling away. You wouldn't really have expected that, would you? Beautiful beach to the east of Ballycastle. This is Bangor, Northern Ireland, and everywhere you look there are Union Jacks. Whether there are more because the coronation is just about to happen, or whether this is a highly unionist Protestant area, I'm not sure. But one thing's for sure, everywhere you look there are Union Jacks. This is the pretty harbour at Bangor. We've come to the Bangor Garden, walled garden, and it's amazingly pretty, and that's the entrance, and this is the garden here, and there are flowers of every description. Just look at those, and people enjoying themselves, walking, and it's very pleasant indeed. We've come just as it opened, 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, this is White Daffodil Alley, and it's quite clear that things are some way behind where they would be in Angmering, because it's the 26th of April and the daffodils are long gone in our part of the world by now. But it's very pretty here, isn't it? One of my abiding memories of Northern Ireland is the beauty of the place and the care of the place. And you see here some volunteers actually keeping these gardens really neat and tidy. And this is outside Bangor Castle. Marion standing outside Bangor Castle. I've been instructed to pronounce it as Bangor rather than Bangor. Marion, tell us what you've enjoyed about our holiday.
Well, the main thing is meeting up with my old friend Ruth and her husband Stephen, seeing Belfast, seeing the North Coast and exploring around the Bangor area.
And we're halfway across the Irish Sea. There's no land in view, but the Stena ferry that left Holyhead at the same time is just crossing us, so by that reckoning we must be exactly halfway. Thank you for watching this video.